As we start our solving equations unit, it's really important to learn how to simplify expressions because that's going to make solving equations easier in the future. The first thing we're going to review is combining like terms. And like terms are terms that have the same variable raised to the same power. For example, 4x, 3x, negative 2x, x by itself. Those are all like terms. Now I can put a squared, but it's going to be a totally different term. 4x squared, 3x squared. These go together, but they do not go together with the one that has just the x. And don't forget our constants. Our constants are also like terms. 2, 3, negative 4, 5. So a like term just has the same variable raised to the same power. I'm going to use my colored pens to show you what my brain is thinking. When I'm combining like terms, I'm looking at, obviously, the ones with the same variable, but I'm also looking at the sign in front of them because that tells me whether the term is positive or negative. And then all I have to do to combine like terms is just add the coefficients. So what is 3 plus 6 minus 4? If you said 5, you're right, so that's a 5x. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine my constants also. So I have a positive 6 and a positive 10. And that is a 16. And voila, my expression has been simplified. All right, here we go. I see a positive 7x squared. Now, does that go with the x and the 8x? Well, if you said no, you're correct. In fact, he has no like term, so we're just going to boop, boop, write that term right here. Now, I am going to go look at the x's by themselves. I have a x and an 8x. Well, how many x's is that? And if you say 2 x's, you're just looking at the variable. Because 8x means 8 x's, like I would almost have 8 apples. I have 8 x's. And then I have, well, how many x's is this one? Well, it's just 1x. So I have 1x plus 8x. I have 9 x's altogether. I hope I didn't confuse you with the apples, but a lot of times when students are struggling, I'll say, okay, let's replace the word x with apple. I got 8 apples. I got 1 more apple. I got 9 apples. In this case, 9 x's. All right, then I have a positive 4 and negative 7. What does that give you? A negative 3. And there is my new simplified expression. Do this one on your own. Pause the video, then come back when you're done. All right, are you ready? I have a 5x and a negative 4x. That does not go with the y's. They're different letters. So 5x plus 4x would be a 1x. But you know what? I don't like the one in front of the x. It's not simplified, so I'm just going to swipe it like that and be done. Next, I'm going to see my y's. And a negative 2 plus a negative 4 is a negative 6, so negative 6y. And then that 5 right there is just by itself, so minus 5, and I'm done. Next, I have the distributive property. And basically, when a number is multiplying times a sum or a difference, a sum is an addition problem, difference is a subtraction problem. So if a number is multiplying times a sum or a difference, that number may be multiplied times each term separately. And so I can look at this 4 and say, okay, I'm going to multiply that 4 times the 3x. And I'm going to multiply that 4 times the positive 2. And I get a 12x. And then I get an 8, which is positive, and so I'm going to put the positive as a plus sign. Now, something that people like to do to kind of remind them, and so that they don't have to do this one right here, is they draw these little rainbow arrows like this. Now, if you're going to draw 2 arrows, you're going to have 2 answers. In fact, however many terms are inside the parentheses is how many terms you're going to have at the end. So what is 2 times 5? Again, we're just multiplying times the coefficient. 2 times 5 is 10, so 10x. 2 times, and this is negative 10, is negative 20. All right, let's try a couple harder ones. I'm going to go ahead and draw the arrows. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you don't even have to do that. Negative 3 times x is just negative 3x. Now, careful. Notice that 2 is a negative 2, so treat it as a negative 2. What is a negative 3 times a negative 2? Well, that would be a positive 6, and I'm going to take that positive and make it a plus sign. Over here, what? Well, isn't it just the same? No, this is actually negative 1. And now I'm going to multiply this. So anytime you see a negative sign in front of a parentheses, you must multiply that negative 1 times each thing in the parentheses. And basically what it does is it just changes their sign. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Negative 1 times negative 9 is positive 9. That wasn't too hard. Now let's try a couple that combines both the distributive property and combining like terms. And feel free at any time to pause the video and try it on your own. All right, what I would suggest first is get rid of your distributive property before you do anything else. So I'm going to draw my little rainbow arrows here. 7 times 2 is 14, so I have 14x. 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. And then I'm just going to rewrite this right here. And then I'm going to combine like terms. And again, I'm showing you what my brain is doing. You can draw the circles, but if you can do it in your head, do it in your head, that's fine. 14 plus 3 is 17x. And then I've got a negative 28 and negative 1, which is going to give me a negative 29. And there's my answer. Okay, last one. But what did I tell you? Get rid of the parentheses first. And if you have a minus in front of that parentheses, you have to treat it as a negative 1. So I'm going to draw my little arrows. I'm going to write the 4x. That negative does not go with the 4x. He's positive. He's right there. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. And then I'm going to write that positive 9. Okay, it's time to combine like terms. And so I have these two. 4x minus 2x is just 2x. And then a positive 4 plus 9 is a positive 13. And I am done. All right, now it's your turn to go have some fun.